We can set up.
Okay, go ahead and just give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Alan, for looking after the technical aspects of this meeting. Council, welcome to the Wednesday, January 10th council meeting. It's starting at 1:30 sharp. Today's meeting may be streamed live as well as recorded and published on the Southwest Middlesex YouTube channel and website. We begin this gathering by acknowledging that the lands upon which we meet are the traditional territory of First Nations people who have a long-standing relationship with the land, water, and region of Southwest Middlesex. We convey our respect to our Indigenous neighbors and thank them for their contributions to our culture, community, our past, and partnerships we will build in the future. Council, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interests or the general nature thereof? The chair doesn't recognize any. Additions to the agenda? Council, with that being brought to you, a recommendation that the regular agenda of council dated January 10th be accepted as presented. I require a mover and a seconder. Councillor Choi, Councillor McCollum. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Michael, delegations and presentations, and Al, I don't believe there's none. Is that correct? Okay. I'll address these questions to you, Alan. The consent agenda, council, is before you. It's been well documented. Are there any questions, or do you wish any of these subjects to be withdrawn? Then, that being the case, the Council for the Municipality of Southwest Middlesex received the consent agenda items for information. A mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Choi, seconder. Councillor McCollum. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Staff information reports on the vouchers. Thank you, Kristen, for accumulating that information. I understand that you had a few calls, and that's great, council. I appreciate that. It's better to be discussed, more efficiently discussed prior to council. Are there, that was part of the consent agenda, Al. Committee of adjustment, there's none. Public meetings, there are none. Staff reports. Okay, just a comment from the chair in regard to that. Over the holiday season, I was very pleased that business went on as it should and as usual. And despite the holidays, our administration and our staff are always working, and we certainly appreciate that. Notice of motion, there are none. Correspondence and petitions, Al, there are none. Unfinished business, I do not believe there is any, Al. And new business, councilors, any new business? We're doing well. This is like light speed. Council, county council and conference updates. The report has been put in. Just like to mention that if you read that report, there was a donation to St. Vincent de Paul at $2,500 from that conference of suppliers of equipment to our roads and recreation, and of course that was held in Strathroy, and that was a very generous donation to St. Vincent de Paul. I believe it was $2,500, and I make mention of that. Yes, sure can.
No, on behalf of St. Vincent de Paul, I appreciate the donation. It'll be put to good use.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Yeah, I'm sure it will. We know that the economy is fragile, and there are people that will be very helpful for. Council, I'll move on to item 14 in the agenda, the announcements. Are there any? I see none. I'd like to maybe perhaps mention a few things. I'd like to thank council for a remarkable year behind us, and I'd like to thank administration and staff. 2023 was a year of accomplishment and vision, and I was very pleased with the legacy that this council has left behind, and the assistance that we have with a very aggressive and beneficial staff. And leaving that year behind, I want to give all the best from the chair. Secondly, I'd like to thank Sam and Amy, Councillor Choi, who worked on the grand opening of the arena. That was a really good event. There was lots of smiles around. We appreciated that. It's hard to measure the success of that event, but I think that Councillor Haggett and Councillor Myers, hot dog cookers, produced 240 hot dogs that went in the mouths of those people that attended. So that was my only accrual I could use for the success of that. But 240 hot dogs is a lot of hot dogs. And of course, lastly, on behalf of council and recreation and all of staff, I want to thank the Lions Club, Mike, for that, their involvement in that. We couldn't have done it without them. And the facilities that were in that upper lobby were very well used. And the use of the elevator was very comfortable for those needed. I saw a wheelchair go into that arena. And it's nice to know that everything in that arena was accessible to that lady in that wheelchair. So I was very pleased with that. Last call for announcements. Okay, we'll move on. Before you, council, is the closed session request. And I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that we go into closed session at 1:37. As per section 239, bracket 2 of the Municipal Act, to consider the following: minutes and items protected under 2392 of the Municipal Act. Is there a mover and a seconder? Councillor Choi, Councillor McCollum. Okay. Questions? All in favor? Carried. I'll see if I can text Wayne, get him in here.